See all this nice brand new spanking lumber in the trunk of my husband's car? We are building a shelf unit. Come see how to do it. Alright, so we're using 1x12s, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
1x12s for both the sides and the shelves, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so our unit is going to be 30 inches wide, and so Jerry has marked, there it is. He has marked off where he needs to cut for, what is this?
That's the shelf.
For the shelf, for a shelf.
28.5, and with the sides on, it'll be 30 inches.
Okie dokie. So away he goes cutting. So basically that's all you have to do for a while, right, is cut the shelves, the length of the shelves, 6 of them, right?
6 of
Or
them
do you have to
plus
do
the
7?
top.
Plus the top, so 7?
Yeah, 6 28.5 and 1 30.
30 inches, okay. And then these are going to be 6 feet tall or a little more than 6 feet tall?
This
So
is...
I mean the ones we're making for the side.
The ones for the sides will be a little more than 6 feet tall.
So basically that's all he has to do right now is cut all the 1x12s into 28, when 130 and 130 inch, and then a couple of about 6 feet. Mm-hmm. And then we'll see what happens after that. Alright, sweetheart, what are we working on today?
We're working on the braces that go under the shelves.
And the braces are... Oh, okay, sorry, you're saying.
To keep the shelves up.
Right. It offers the extra support beyond just screwing them together.
Yeah, and gives them a place to put screws into that, you know, is not as narrow as the shelf. So I'm making two.
This is a 2x4.
This is a 2x4. I'm going to rip it here to make here and here to make 2 braces, 2 rows of braces. I'm just cutting off this extra so it doesn't stick down into the shelf area as much.
And it'll be a lot easier to see once we're actually filming you putting it together. Mm-hmm. And so is this a 10-foot 2x4 or 8?
8 foot.
8. So this is an 8-foot 2x4, and he said it'll make 16 of the braces. So there you go. So while he gets those braces cut, I wanted to show you the shelves that he cut yesterday. Here they are. It's the actual shelves, and then you can see this is the 30-inch piece that's going to sit on top. That's going to be the top. But there it is. I mean, that's pretty basic, right? Just measure and cut the shelves the length you want. All right, let's see what happens next. He has cut all the braces, and I'll show you that in a bit, but before he's getting to that, this is the very bottom shelf. So another 2x4 cut to the width of the shelf. So he's attaching one on each end to provide better support, and it's also a better place. It's a bigger place. It'll be easier for him to attach the side of the shelving unit. So that's what we're doing next. I'd like to point out before we go on to the bracing that Jerry decided to go ahead and use not only screws, you can see the screws at the top, but also wood glue, because he just felt that it would make it stronger if he had the glue and the screws. Alright, let's get a look at the bracing. So he's just beginning the process of getting the braces in line. I was going to ask you, was there any specific measurement you made to decide what angle that went, or did you just eyeball it?
You can set on the circle saw, that's 45 degrees.
Oh, okay. So he cut them at a 45-degree angle. And so there's going to be 6 going up like that. So he's going to get those braces on for where the shelves will set on. So there's the first brace for the shelf support, and you can see here, glue. He's got wood glue on one side, and then on the other side he has, if I can't see because of the sun. You guys can see what I can't. There they are. Now I can see the screws. There we go. So, and 3 screws on the other side. And they're a foot apart, right? The braces are going to be a foot apart, yes?
13 inches.
13 inches. Okay. And then what he's doing now is, this is the bottom shelf, as you can see. And so he's gluing, and then he's got the glue, and then he's going to screw on the other side. The sides in, that's how he's attaching the sides. So I thought you were going to put all the bracings on first and then do this.
Well, I need to screw down into the bracing to put the shelves in, and I'm concerned that if I put another brace here, it would...
Oh, you'll be at an angle. Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why I'm doing it like that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next step then. All right. Some people are going to want to know the length of these screws.
These are 2.5, and the other smaller screws that I'm going to put just to attaching the shelves and braces with these are just under 1.5.
Okay. Do y'all hear that bee in the background? It's the middle of December. Yes, that's how it is in the South. Insects all year round. So here's the first side attached to the bottom. He did 5 screws. Drill the hole and then drill in the screws. Simple. Now we need to do the other side. Alright, you can see he's already got 2 shelves in. 1, 2. There's a clamp he's using. The screws. And now he's putting the glue on the next set of braces. Glue, and then shelf, and then screwing it in. Clamping.
And then screwing.
And then screwing. Alright, so here's a super duper long clamp. We actually had a handyman, neighbor and friend, when we lived back in Plano, was envious when he saw Jerry's long clamps. And then in go the screws. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so here's the completed shelf unit, just the shelves and the sides. There's the top, lying on its side, because now it's time to put the back on. And what we did was we got 3, because we're building something else, I'll show you in another video, but we got 3 4x8, correct? 4x8 pieces of plywood. So what Jerry's doing now, obviously, is he's going to mark off where he needs to cut the plywood off to make the back of our unit. And that'll pretty much be the end, won't it? Once you get the back, no, well, the doors, right?
You need this first.
So he's cut the piece, laid it on the shelf, got the holes, drilled the holes, and now he's putting in the screws, like that. Alright, so the back is all screwed on now. Isn't that cool? Wow, so this is a little over 6 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 compartments. Now we need to get the doors on so we don't have any dust on our clothes. All right, the next step is to get the doors on. Or is that really the final step? I guess the final step is getting the doors on. And before he needs to do that, he needs to put, what do you call it?
I'm not sure what to call it.
Anyway, some sort of, I guess, anchoring strip, because this little bit here isn't wide enough really to withstand a screw coming in that way. And also the plywood itself, which is going to serve as the doors, you know, is kind of weak. So what he's doing before he actually puts the plywood doors on is he bought some 1x4s and ripped them in half lengthwise. That's ripping is lengthwise. And so now they're 2 inches. 2 inches wide. And so he's going to put a strip of wood on each of the 4 sides, top, bottom, and each of the tall sides. Those are going to get screwed in, and then he's going to work on the actual doors and hinges. All right. Here is our shelving unit. There's going to be a cabinet with, whoops, with all 4 of the extra pieces of wood there, just waiting for the doors to be hinged onto them. Right now Jerry's out there cutting the plywood, so we'll see what happens next. So Jerry tells me this is going to be the most fun part of building and putting the doors in on our cabinet, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. It's the whole door thing. Making the doors is hard. It's tricky.
So these strips are going to eventually be on, go over those strips, right? And here comes Benjamin.
Yeah.
I'm doing a video clip. So that's correct?
Yeah.
And
well, these strips will go around the
he wants to show you his new remote control toy. Sorry, these strips what?
These strips will go around the plywood. They'll be the border for the plywood
Okay.
to try to give it a little extra strength.
So they're not going to actually go on top of the ones you just screwed in?
When they're doors, they'll fit against there.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not a right brain dominant person, so I can visualize things like, you know, architectural things like that, and I have to see it the first time first. But anyway, so he's measuring them out, and he's going to have to cut little trenches in the middle where the plywood will fit into. So basically he's going to have to cut slits, and we'll see that in a minute, and then the plywood is going to fit into the slits. Alright, so these are the 1x4s that have been ripped in half to turn into 1x2s, and this is what he was marking yesterday. And let me show you the trenches he's started. Right now he's trying to make sure it's the right fit for the plywood. He's got a piece of plywood there, which is going to be the door. So that's what he's doing. Earplugs in and safety goggles on. Picking up the circle saw. I'm not going to video this very much because this is very, very loud. For me, I can turn it off mute in the video, but it's very loud for me. All right, now we see what he was doing with those 2x4s, or sorry, the 1x4s that he ripped to be 1x2s and put the trenches in. He's already done the long sides of both of the doors, and now he's doing the top and bottom. So he puts wood glue inside the trench and on the board itself, and then it fits in like that, and it's way easier on the short, for the short pieces. He had quite a time on, did you have a hard time on all of the long pieces?
Pretty much.
Yeah. It was a lot harder to shove the plywood into the trenches on the long pieces. But that's how it's done. And you see he cut each end at an angle so it would fit like a jigsaw puzzle. So when he's all done with both the doors, we'll look at that, and then it'll be time to actually get the cabinet put together, our shelving unit with doors. All right, we're finally ready to put on the hinges. Whoops, he's making his, so he's marked, as you can see, he's already marked the holes of where the screws are going to go with the hinges on. So one down and 3 more to go. Alright, he's got all the holes drilled, and now he is putting in screws into the actual shelf unit. Okay, that's part one of the hinges. Now we're ready to connect the doors, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so to attach the door, as you can see, he put the shelving unit on its side. And he had quite the time trying to get the bottom, or I should say the side of the shelf, to be at the right height, so that he could successfully screw in the door like that. So did you finish? Oh yeah, you finished them all. Okay. So at first he put a thin board underneath, and that wasn't quite high enough, and so then he used towels to get it a little higher. And now he's about to test. Let's see how it opens.
It opens pretty well.
Yeah.
The real test is going to be putting this back on and see if it's still.
Okay, so yeah, this is important to check your work before check each step, so he can make sure this door is still going to be in alignment the way he wants before he attaches the hinges there. It looks all right to me. Is it okay now? It looks like it's working. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have lunch, and then after lunch he's going to do the second door, and then we're almost done. Alright, it's time to do the latches on the door to get them to close, and they consist of this piece here that goes right onto the shelf, and then this little piece here that goes on the door, clips inside there. Now, for some reason, after Jerry installed this and then he closed the other door, it didn't quite close all the way straight. So, but if he installs the other one at the bottom, it'll work. So that's what he's doing. That's not normally how it's done, but you improvise when things don't work exactly right. So he's going to get that latch on. And of course, before you do this part, you need to close the door and make sure that you're putting the latch, the part that goes in on the shelf and the part that goes on the door, mark off in the right place so that they'll match. Okay, so you mark the door after you get that in.
Yeah, so I get that in, I have the other latch still in there, and then I push it in and just mark through the screw holes.
Aha, okay. And then
There you
the
go.
marks are there, and then he knows where to drill and where to install the little clip thing. Now with the test, closing the doors. Should be easier, obviously, once we have the door handles on, which is the very last step, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is how to build a simple and basic shelf unit. The latch just kind of stick. But anyway, with doors, the doors being the more complicated part and more tedious job with having to put the trenches in these slats. But anyway, for watching, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it. And go ahead and get started on building your own bookcase. You'll save some money and you'll learn some things about building. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, Jerry, before he started this project, I've never built any one of these before. I don't know if I can do it right, which is exactly what he said before he built our storage shed, which is 100 square feet. It's not tiny, which is what he said before he built the interior walls of our house and before he built the top bar beehives. 3 cheers for my husband because he can build, right? Right, he's laughing over there. You may not think you can do it, but watch some YouTube videos and then get out there and practice.